All right, I'm back. You back? We back. Just like it's my how you already know, it's me. It's your girl P, your favorite bitch, and your favorite witch. Welcome to this week's episode, Postscript. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, like I said, welcome back. This week, well, we're gonna bring back a segment that we haven't had in a while, just because I haven't really seen anything, I don't know, that I feel like I wanted to talk about. But this is something that really did it for me. It was this tweet. I saw it, and then I also saw some Deontay say on his podcast, on Christina's podcast, and the girl said, "If W.E.B. the boys, who gonna be the girls?" That is so funny to me. Like, why would you say that, and how did you think of that? I love when people can just play with words like that. That is so funny to me. But that's this week's Laughable MS. Now we're gonna get into P's favorite pieces. So for this week, I don't even know if I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put it here. I might even just put the little, I don't even. Best day of my life. Best day of my life. Y'all know it's been a long way home. Long road down this road. I remember one of my friends that I met down here was like, I thought I was a hottie. She was like, no, you're like the hottie. Like, yeah, no. Y'all know I love Meg so much. She was so nice, so sweet. Like, we really just got to talk and like chit chat, take some little pictures real quick. It was so fun. Like, I miss when artists used to do like little cute meet and greets at like the CD stores and like little stuff like that. That's kind of what that reminded me of. So I'm just so grateful and thankful for being here, living in Houston, Texas, and getting to experience that, because ever since I moved to Texas, my life has just been elevated. Like, I'm that Meg. I'm so happy. But anyways, next topic. What pissed me off today is short and sweet, my car. My car is not functioning. It's not running. But I may have a solution very soon to that. Yeah, because Jupiter is in Cancer and we are about elevating and expansion. But we'll get into that a little bit later. That's what pissed me off today. A conscious cunt. This week I saw another tweet. I was like, fuck, I didn't get my entire life together this weekend. And I was hollering because I forever been really meaning to get all my makeup together and stuff on my vanity and all that over there. And I really organized every single little thing. Like, now I'm looking at it like all the lashes is together. The eyeshadows is right there. All the perfumes is right there. Like, all the fans is in the cups. Like, I finally, because my little pieces that I use, I kind of was like leaving them out. And I'm like, I don't like the way that looks. And then that's also like a bad habit. Put stuff out where you got it from. So I finally got like my whole vanity set up over there. All the way back together. So very proud of myself for that. Let's clap it up. Yeah, make some noise, y'all. What the fuck? But yeah, it really do be feeling like that on the weekends. Like, for me, I do everything Saturday morning. I do everything Saturday morning because I don't want to do nothing on Sunday but cook, eat, do some laundry, get the bathroom together, watch some TV, lay down, go to sleep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sunday, I can't do nothing on Sunday. I really can't. That's how I really know I'm on the spectrum, because it's just certain things that cannot change if I have to go to work. If I have to go to work, I can't do nothing Sunday. Absolutely nothing. And if I do, it's very rare. So yeah, that's this week's conscious cunt. Make sure y'all using y'all weekend time, y'all free time as prosperously as you can to get things done and accomplished. This was just a buffer water of a week, but it came on again today, and I was just like, it just instantly took me back to the concert. Like, I love once I hear a song live, because that's just how the song goes in my head now. And artists always do like something a little different when they sing a song live. And not only that, like the memory just be imprinted on my brain like forever. But Go So Deep by Q.T.N.A. That's this week's bar for bar. Like, that song is so good. Like, let's get into the next. All right, our last segment of today, as always, is hashtag I cannot make this shit up. And the first thing I want to talk about is Jupiter in Cancer. I did mention that earlier. The planet Jupiter did move into the astrological sign of Cancer on June the 9th. And it will be there until June the 30th. This is what I was talking about when I said some astrology is short spurts, some astrology is longer spurts. So Jupiter in Cancer, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, the planet of wisdom, the planet of go forth and get it kind of thing. And then with Cancer being the sign of the caretaker, the nurturer, the home, the caregiving, the, self-care, all that kind of stuff. These two energies create what I'm calling a safe space, right? So very welcoming and bountiful and abundant, but then something is squaring something that I can't remember right now, but I'll get into that a little bit later. That's going to give it some tension, but I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But right now, we're still talking about Jupiter and Cancer. Jupiter and Cancer, like I said, will happen for the next month or so, a little shy of a month, couple of weeks. So the message for that would be the expansion of emotional intelligence and intellect and very eccentric things, because Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer, and we talked about this before. Exalted just means like it's at home, it's very comfortable, it's just so like I said, safe space, very bountiful, very abundant, very welcoming. It's just at home with that sign, I'm saying the planet Jupiter is at home with the sign Cancer. There was a square that I was talking about a couple seconds ago. The planet Mercury was square to the planet Saturn, and the planet Venus was square to the planet Pluto. And to me personally, when I think of square, I think of like the Spider-Man meme of like all of them pointing at each other. Like it's a confrontation, like it's a little tension, a little, you know what I'm saying? So while we have that soft, cushy thing, we also have that going on too. And then Cancer is the sign that is in touch with its emotions. So be aware of like projecting old feelings or trauma responses onto people. I'm not saying things that you feel or experience aren't valid, but just be aware of that with certain things. And also think about, it's just certain things that you can't control, and it's certain things that you can't control, and you more than likely are spending more of your time focused on things you can't control and not putting enough time into the things you can control, and that imbalance is conflicting your spirit. So for me, for example, something that I stopped looking at a long time ago was like the prices of like stuff like groceries, laundry detergent, tissue. Like, granted, do I be like using coupons, getting little deals, and doing all this? Yes, 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 yes. But what I'm gonna do? Not get it? Like, I'm also not the kind of person that believes in quantity over quality. That's a trauma response for me, just because that's how I grew up, and I always understood that quality should override in certain situations. So that's just me. So Cancer, like I said, is the nurturer. Most people say like the mother sign. Like most people say like, oh, that's very like a caregiver, nurturer, and that's usually like the mother. If we're talking about parent dynamic situations, more than likely that's the default parent. But I'm not saying that's the case in all cases. Just so think of like primary caretaker. That's what Maddie says, and I like to say that too. So with the soft and cushiness that we have and the welcoming energy that Jupiter and Cancer is going to bring, be for real. Like, really start taking yourself serious. Really start to understand life. Really start to radicalize yourself and really build a toolkit of essentials that will help you not only survive in the next life, but thrive in the next life. Because if you're my peer, you're in your Saturn return, like I talk about all the time. We're going to get into that a little bit later too. But okay, so like right now you're in this version of your life and you're setting up for the next version of your life. So in your next life, you don't want to be the best one that could be for that life. And then think about how that's going to lead into your next life. Right? And when I say that, I'm talking about like, I think like ages. I think of like your lifespan as like ages. Like, you know what I'm saying? So really get serious, strategize to figure out your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. And if you aren't a person that can project that far, you the kind of person that need to start with a quarterly plan. Start small, babes. Don't. And I'm not saying that it's not smart to set yearly goals, but it's hard to stick to them because yeah, you can say, oh, I'm gonna do this, but what's the plan for the small increments? Stop thinking about stuff always long term. Y'all know I like to always revert back to a time when this astrology was happening. So Jupiter in Cancer, last time that happened was June 2013 to 2014. So just think about that time frame of your life. And I know in that time frame, again, if you're my peer, you were leaving one version of your life and entering the next version because we were going off to school or the workforce. So that's the energy that this is bringing. And I know that changed my life forever. So I already know, like, I've been talking about this version of myself that I'm working on for years now. I've been doing the blueprinting for years now. It's something that I wish everybody could experience. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I understand that also is a privilege in itself because you can't project that way when you are in the attitude of surviving and not, thriving, as they say. So I understand that because I've survived a long time. And more recently, I've started to thrive in this life. So I'm excited to see what the next one brings as well. In that time frame, even though, June to 2013, 2014-ish, what changed? What worked? What'd you learn? What shifted? What, you know what I'm saying? Think about all of that. Because that kind of energy is open and abundant to you right now. So tap into that. So something that I also want to speak on with the whole Jupiter and Cancer thing is sometimes you do have to reparent yourself or, unlearn maybe things that weren't necessarily taught to you, but because they weren't taught to you, you have certain habits. Do that make sense? So, understand that that's a good time for this right now because it's a very soft and safe space. So pour into that self-care and that reprogramming. With that 5, 10 year, 1 year, quarterly plan, whatever works for you, start to understand what connection looks like, what family looks like, what success looks like, what joy feels like, what community feels like. Because the advances and upgrades are coming. Another time when Jupiter was in Cancer was around the time 9/11 happened in 2000 and what was that, 1 or 2? No, I think it was 1. And then another time was also when they legalized gay marriage. And it's also Pride. So happy Pride. Shout out to all my gay niggas. Like Ray J said. Because why would you say that? So all in all, just recommit and redefine what safety and security looks and feels like, smells like, tastes like, walks like, talks like. Somebody called it. What abundance and affluence means and how that can expand your life. If you're watching this when this drops, as you should, then the last thing I want to talk about is the full moon that's happening today. The full moon in Sag. I believe it's a strawberry moon on the little farmer's almanac thing. Well, the full moon is in the sign of Sag, and Sagittarius is ruled by the sign of Jupiter. And then, like I said, Jupiter is in Cancer. So Jupiter being the expander, the wise one, and Sag being the intellect, the experienced, the traveled, I feel like this ties to that message when I was saying, this is a good time for those code words for coach, things of that nature when I'm speaking on intelligence and stuff like that with the sign of Sag. Think about November of last year. To now understand and dissect where you've been, where you're going, where you come from, what's happened, what was left, what was learned, what was lost, what was, you know what I'm saying? So the full moon is, with Jupiter in Cancer, with it being the full moon in Sag and all that good jazz, it is bringing payoff. It is bringing a prosperous energy. It is also bringing challenge, and it's also bringing care. We're halfway to eclipse season. Y'all know I like to talk about eclipses on here. They happen in the fall and the spring. So just lock in and figure out what's the word. How do you prepare and rebuild and, shed, start over, add on, take away, so that you can be the best version of yourself that you can be. And I mean that in the realest way possible. not on no fluffy internet shit. And even if you can't start with the like 1 year, 5 year, 10 year plan thing or whatever, quarter plan or whatever, maybe start with a list of like just life non-negotiables. Things like, I'm not talking about like, oh, if I had this career, this could happen, whatever. Things that regardless, you understand are what you want. Non-negotiables, no matter what. Focus on your emotional intelligence. Tighten up on your emotional hygiene and your spiritual hygiene. Because cortisol does kill. You know, I always say that. Get your endocrine system together. Get your nervous system together. Understand how you decompress from high energy, high stress situations. If you don't at least have that process, start there. If you can't start with none of the other stuff I suggested. It's the solstice next week. New moon coming in a couple weeks. Kazemi. But we'll talk about all that next week. Thank y'all for coming. And please make sure you come back. This has been Postscript, also known as PS Talk Show. It's me, your girl P, your host. And you always know how we end the show. Bitches be mad 'cause they be hating, and bitches be hating 'cause they be mad. Bye, y'all.